I want to help you make these bold moves by overcoming the mindset hurdles and helping you understand what it really takes to get to a place where you're creating financial security and support for yourself.
Welcome to Thrive by Design, the podcast for ambitious, independent jewelry brands looking to profit from their products. Get ready to make more and sell more doing what you love without spending every single waking minute doing it. Hey, and if you're a creative, fashion, or product-based business, I want to welcome you to the show. I'll be dropping big tips on launching, growing, and scaling your business so you can spend more of your precious time using your creativity to make money. You ready? All right, let's do this.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 381. This one goes out to my girl, Natasha, my dear friend, and for a very long time, our enrollment specialist. And she asked me a while back to record a podcast about women, in particular, women who are striving to reach that $100,000 marker a year. Or maybe a better question or better start to this is for, really to start this conversation about why more women aren't going for bigger financial goals. And it's an interesting conversation because I've heard this time and time again. We have a program over here called Laying the Foundation. And a lot of times, the promise of that program is that we really help people grow six-figure businesses. If you continue to do the work and focus on your goals, it will be easy to achieve that number. And I'm not saying it will happen for everyone in 3 months or even a year, but we've seen incredible things happen with students in our community. And I mention this because so many times, I'll see in our group, people are like, well, I don't really want to make six figures. And then I'm always questioning that. Not that everyone does, you might not, and that's totally cool if you don't. And there's no judgment there. But I think what people fail to realize is that when you grow a jewelry business to six figures a year, what you're actually really making is about $50,000 a year. If you have a business that has a really tight expenses and good profit margins. I did a whole podcast on this phenomenon a long time ago. And this all sort of resulted from someone who got on the phone with me who wanted to talk about their business. And they were thinking about joining a program of ours. And she's like, well, all I really want to do, I don't really want to have a $100,000 business. I just want to replace my corporate income of $50,000. And I was like, well, why don't we break that down and take a look at what that looks like? And I think there was this aha moment at a certain time where she was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I do have to make $100,000 if I want to replace my corporate income of $50,000. So this is a bigger conversation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how you can make some bold moves and bold statements for yourself and also overcome some of the mindset hurdles that you might be experiencing in your business in this episode. So today I wanted to invite you to support yourself and your business with a free download. It's called the Jewelry Business Owner's Growth Guide. And in that, it's an amazing guide that's about 25 pages or something like that. I walk you through the stages of growth in a jewelry business from 0 to multiple 7 figures. So regardless of what your goals are or what you want to achieve, you can actually have a sneak peek of what it takes to build a startup and then go step by step and kind of some of the things that you would be thinking about and considering if you did want to one day grow a 7-figure business. Now, obviously, all jewelry businesses are different. Someone who's selling handmade jewelry and selling $1 million a year is very different than a fine jeweler selling $1 million a year. You're selling way fewer units with a fine jewelry business, and you're doing more volume with a handmade or a lower price point business, which is awesome. But I just give you some things to think about on how you're going to grow your business based on where you are now. And it's also very exciting. So if you want to download this step-by-step guide and discover what it takes to grow from where you are now to where you want to be, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/growth guide, and you can download the free guide today. And I'd love for you to tell me what you think once you download it. Super awesome. It's our holiday gift for all of you. Now, let's dive into today's episode. I was pulling some statistics and some consensus data or census data. What do you call it? Census data? Yeah, I guess so. The consensus on the census data. And it appears as though 12.1% of women make $100,000 a year or more. And this number actually rose in the last couple of years, I think probably because of inflation and everything that was been going on in the world. I think previously it was about 9%. So it's a decent number, but why can't 50% of women be making $100,000 a year or more. And if you're someone who wants to really support yourself and create a better life for yourself, then I want you to really think about this, because why aren't women making more money? And why is there shame around wanting to have a good income for yourself and your business? And I think the more important thing is, like, why is there an avoidance around this topic of people just getting weird around it? And the better question that I want to ask about this, is it really because you wouldn't welcome that kind of wealth into your life or that kind of income, especially if it didn't really require much more work in order for you to achieve it? Now, I'm not saying that growing a jewelry business is not work. It is hard work. I'm not going to lie to you. And it does take a lot of you to be consistent and persistent and keep moving forward and get what you're doing and keep on growing. I personally have a belief around this, though, and I'm not saying that this is everyone, that a lot of creatives and artists start doing their business because they have a passion for it and they like it. And for some reason, I believe that they feel like if they state that they want to make a good living with their income and maybe make $100,000 or replace their full-time salary at their corporate job or whatever it is, it causes them to commit to something that they're afraid that they might not achieve. And earlier this week, I should say, I did a whole podcast on confidence to help you build your sales confidence. So I want to ask you this. Is it really because you don't want it, or is it because you can't commit to doing that, or is it because you really don't need it? And there's a lot of things, there's a lot of people who maybe just really don't need it, and that's fine. That's great. But at the other end, I do want to inspire you to stop playing small if it's something that would really support you, your lifestyle goals, and help you create financial security for yourself and help you save for your kids' college and all those things. Because let's face it, in the world that we're in, $100,000 doesn't even really go that far. It doesn't go that far at all. And I really want to inspire you to think a little bit bigger so that you're making a lot more for yourself and you're able to fuel the economy and you're able to save and support yourself in a way that actually feels good. And if none of this feels aligned with you, you could stop listening to this episode right now. But if it's resonating, then keep on listening, because here's the thing. I want to help you make these bold moves by overcoming the mindset hurdles and helping you understand what it really takes to get to a place where you're creating financial security and support for yourself. And so here's what I want you to start with. First, I want you to get really clear on what you want and why you want it. What is that goal that you want? Maybe it's 100K, maybe it's 50K, maybe it's $1 million. When you get to the why behind you want it, it makes the whole reason for earning the money matter, right? And then as you state the number or whatever it is that you want to create in your life, I want you to sit with it and see, does it feel good? Is there resistance to stating that number? Are you writing something down that's really kind of less than you want to make and you're kind of playing a little bit small? And if you're not really doing something that's going to push you, is this an excuse for you to not have to be bold or take some risks? So that's the first step of this. So if you want to pause this, you can write down a goal, get clear on what you really want and why, and go through some of that exercise. Where are you feeling resistance? Does it feel good? Is it exciting and inspiring to you? Or does it make you feel defeated? Or is it just meh, And be really honest with you. Are you playing small? Or is it something that you really want to push yourself to that next level? And then the next thing that I want you to do, step 2, is to get clear on what the story is underneath all of this. What are the mindset hurdles that you're dealing with? So do you have specific beliefs about money or your situation? Are you someone who has judgment about people who make a lot of money? Is it because you're afraid to ask for it? Or is it because someone told you that you're an artist and you don't deserve to make money? There's a whole bunch of reasons. And I'm not going to go super deep. I've done a ton of episodes on mindset, and you can head on over to the blog and search and look at all the different episodes that I've done about mindset over the past 10 years on this podcast for the last 6 years. But a lot of our, mindset and what we believe about our situation and money and all those things really comes down to our core belief system. Are we repeating patterns that our parents passed along to us? Are we basically reliving the stories and their beliefs. A lot of these things are generational and they're passed down through the generations. Like, for instance, two people can grow up in the same exact environment. One person maybe had parents who were artists, who are very successful artists, who were just like, go for it, live your dreams, do all the things. And they saw proof that you can be successful as an artist. Now, another person might have grown up in a family where they had corporate jobs, or they were doctors or lawyers, or they were, even like maybe someone who like worked at a retail store or something like that, where they weren't making a ton of money. And they thought like, oh, it's so risky to go be an entrepreneur and start a business or be an artist. It's hard to make money as an artist. Do you see how those two different situations, two same people with the exact same amount of talent, the exact same amount of energy to move into their business, the exact same desire, might have a different outcome with their situation if they're hanging on to their belief systems. So I want you to really think through, like, what are all the negative beliefs that you have that are preventing you from getting what you want about your situation, about your art, about money, about all the things. And then I want you to clear that story, especially when it comes to money. And we have an exercise in our Laying the Foundation program that's called the Rapid Reframe. And it's all about identifying and getting really clear on where the origin of poor mindset actually comes from. So, and for yourself. And so is it something that was passed on with your parents? Is it something that you learned from society and all these things? And then we help you clear it in that program. I'm not going to go into it too much, but basically it's about identifying the story, changing that story, creating an alternative story to replace the old story, and then moving forward on what is possible and what's probable. And when you continually do this, it helps release the energy and helps break the pattern of things that aren't really serving you in your life, in your business. And then the next step to this is to flip those beliefs and turn them into something positive. Flip those beliefs and turn them into something positive. And so we have an exercise that I love to teach, and here are a couple of examples. The first would be, let's say it's hard to make money as an artist. You would flip that belief and saying, like, I get paid for my creativity as an artist, and I am making insert your goal from my creativity by working with my ideal clients. So that's one example. Another example might be like, oh, I'm terrible at managing people. Another way to flip that belief would be to say something along the lines of, I am a great leader and I inspire people to follow my lead. Instead of managing, you are leading them. Do you see the subtle shift? Maybe there's something along the lines of like, it's too hard to grow a jewelry business and become an entrepreneur. Instead, maybe you shift that belief to, I work hard to reach my goals because it is so satisfying to feel the efforts of my creativity translating into value in the world, or value and beauty into the world. So when you transform like negative belief patterns, thought systems, like all those things, the stories that we all carry, we all have them, right? And you turn them into something that's useful, you're able to move so much faster, so much farther, and get a better result. Now, my final step here in making bold moves in 2023 is really about getting support in your goals. And I talk about this a lot. And I think one of the things that can be really challenging for artists, creatives, and people who are trying to grow a business, it's hard, right? Because that's the truth. When you follow a step-by-step plan, it can be a lot simpler, a lot easier, and all that stuff. But entrepreneurship is hard. It's going to push you up against all of your challenges, all of your beliefs. It's going to make you question yourself all the time. You're going to F up so bad. I think about it all the time. I have haters, just like anyone does. And it's funny because sometimes I'm like, gosh, am what I'm doing, like, should I keep doing this, right? And it's such a small fraction of people who actually say negative things, but we always listen to the worst thing and like hold on to that. And why is that? It's because there's something that resonates in our beliefs about ourselves, right? And I mentioned this earlier in the episode that one of my core beliefs, like from an astrology standpoint, that I guess adopted when I, was born based on the time and place that I was born, is that, the universal belief of not feeling adequate or not good enough and not deserving. And so when I get like a negative review or someone, the one star, 2-star review on my book or something like that, I sometimes I get really insulted. I had this one person like harassing me on the internet. Like I have to ask myself, like, why do I let it bother me so bad? And I think the real reason is because I care. And I really want to show up authentically and to give value and to provide value and to truly help people. And so it's the same for you. It's like putting yourself out there and getting the value. And so the reason why I say get support is because at every stage, you're going to question yourself. You're going to not know what to do next. You're going to, spend a lot of time trying to figure it out instead of following a proven path. Instead, you would have a lot more confidence. You'd be able to move forward a lot faster. You'd be able to prove yourself wrong a lot faster, to flip those negative beliefs and boldly move forward to reach those goals. Maybe it's $100,000 a year. Maybe it's $100,000 a year in personal income. Let me clarify that. $100,000 a year in revenue or $100,000 a year in personal income. And whatever it is, like keep moving towards that goal. But also I want to remind you to get the support, because if you don't have support and community and all the things around you, you will waste time. You will question yourself. You will doubt yourself, and it will become hard to move forward at times. And I want to be here to support you in every way, shape, or form. So if that sounds good, then I want to give you a virtual high five as we move into the new year, and a big group hug, and just share a little bit about what we have coming in the pipeline for 2023. 2022 was a really challenging year for Flourish and Thrive Academy because I spent a lot of time revisiting all of our programs, trying to figure out like, what are we doing here as a business? Because we have amazing programs. They're awesome. Like our signature program, Laying the Foundation. We've completely revamped our momentum program. We're listening to people and we're bringing on more support from a coaching standpoint as well. So we're going to be rolling into the new year with some new offers. And every January, I like to kick off the year with our jewelry brand makeover boot camp. And in that boot camp, we support typically thousands of designers and help them grow their business. Now, it's not officially open. I'm just teasing it so that you know that it's coming down the pipeline. And we've even revamped this boot camp to make it better. So instead of 3 days, it's 5 days. We're going to be walking you through an entire process to set awesome goals for the year and to help you reach those big goals so that you're making bold moves and so that your business continues to grow in a way that's authentic and aligned and that just makes you feel good every single day. And then we are going to back that up with some awesomeness. We have a whole protocol that we go through to help you make over your brand and improve your messaging, improve your marketing, improve the way that you are reaching out to consumers, and also to work on your mindset. And then we're wrapping it up with one of my favorite masterclasses, and we're going to help you stand out in a saturated market with a timeless jewelry brand. So let's do this. I'm here to wish you a healthy and happy and bold moving new year in 2023. Stay positive, everyone. We're going to get through this together. And if you'd like to download the Jewelry Business Owner's Growth Guide, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/growth guide and download your copy today. There are some really actionable tips there that are going to support you in your step-by-step to grow based on the stage of business that you're in now. And it is awesome. Trust me on this. Happy New Year, everyone.